Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim or Cimnanya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. Today, we're talking something very important. I found this video very interesting, and I was like, I am bringing it here because, yeah, we all need to say this. And it's about this man who actually appreciates Black people for educating him and making him whom he is and all that. And there is one thing I know for sure about Black people is that when you experience Black love, trust me, there is not going back, and that it's just really beautiful. And I am really happy for him for all his experiences and all he has been able to gather, the experiences he has been able to gather from Black community, and he's being appreciative of it, and that it's absolutely great. So I love to hear things like this. I love to say things like this, and it's really wholesome. It's absolutely great. And this video is in stitches, and trust me, every part of it is just a great one. And getting to know that some people are always waiting for Black people to save democracy. When they mess up, they know that they are messing up, but then they look for a way to wait for Black people or, to fix their shit is all that. I mean, things like this aren't happening anymore because we are all going to be in that mess for a longer time. Black people aren't saving any democracy. So it's either you act right or we live all together in that mess. Let's get into this video.
Before I go sleep tonight, I just want to say one thing. Throughout my journey, and I'm on about my journey from a very young age, there has been one community that has helped me, that has educated me and made me grow into the man I am today. And that is the Black community. And I'm sorry for being so vague in saying the Black community. And the reason why is because it's so diverse and I can't pinpoint specific groups. So I'm from Reading. Now Reading, the first group of immigrants to ever come to Reading were Caribbeans. And one thing that the Caribbeans did from a very young age was they created, along with other African members, they created the Pan-African Society, which was after-school curriculums built for Black students because they were getting neglected by the education system. Now, for some reason, I was enrolled into this, and my belief is that they thought I was mixed race, so I was allowed into these classes. There I learned a lot. I was bumped up in the English language, but also they taught me a lot about history, about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., about Black Panthers, about Assata Shakur, all these amazing things. And that helped me, and that helped me grow, and that helped me learn. And so as I grew up and I grew older, I learned a lot more about the Black community, and I learned more about that than my own community. But one thing I noticed, Black people really not only just look out for their own, but they make sure to grow and keep going. And that's one thing I fell in love with from a very young age was Muhammad Ali. Now, when Muhammad Ali passed away, I always thought, what's the equivalent in the UK to our Muhammad Ali? Who is it? And I realized today it's Stormzy. So Stormzy is a rapper from the UK who went viral from this video where he's basically just telling someone shut up. But I noticed one thing, when he became famous, he didn't just become rich and famous and just brag about it. He built a production company, he built a book publishing thing, which he's helping and pushing for people of color to get their books published. He also funded so many Black students to go to Oxford University. And he's still doing so much more. And also his performance at Glastonbury where he wore the stab vest and he called out the government, especially his line where he said, "How would you like if we burnt your house down?" Referring to the Grenfell fire where loads of innocent people died because a house got burnt down and the government neglected it. And the reason why I'm making this video is I would like to appreciate and just let the Black community know that you guys have done so much for me, because there's no one from my community. We don't have a Malcolm X in our community. We don't have anything similar to Muhammad Ali. Imran Khan is probably the closest, but it's because of Black people I am where I am. Black women taught me how to look after my hair and taught me how to maintain my curls. It was Black men like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Muhammad Ali that taught me how to be courageous, how to love. It was Muhammad Ali, a Black Muslim reaver, that taught me to fall in love with my religion and my name. So I owe the Black community so much. So while I'm here, and I know everyone gives me credit saying, "Oh, you did great," this isn't me. Even the way I speak, everything, it's all from the Black community. And my great friend Jordan, just, I know what black love is, and God, it's beautiful. So I would like to say thank you to the black community. I would like to say thank you to Stormzy. I would like to say thank you to Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Sat Shakur. Just the list goes on.
The reason why you see me go as hard as I do on the topic of race, the reason why I have educated myself about the concept of race and about race dynamics and about the economic and political and social dynamics that created race and have fostered this dynamic in this country, is because I empathize with the place of ignorance that racism is born out of. And the only way for me to be able to correct this is if I know enough to be able to educate them out of this place. But it requires me understanding I know how a 20-year-old white kid from an all-white town in the Deep South arrives at a place where he holds certain racial prejudices. All means of social conditioning have reinforced all of this to him. It is incumbent upon me to acknowledge and understand and empathize that these are the conditions that have created this ignorance. It also requires me to empathize with black educators that I cannot expect them to sacrifice their peace trying to reach someone who ultimately does not come from a place of understanding where they're going to be receptive to a black educator reaching out to them and trying to correct the behavior. And again, they shouldn't have to. I empathize with their peace to not put the onus onto them to correct the behavior of fucking ignorant white dudes. It gets to another point of empathy where in order for me to be willing to educate them, I have to believe that they're worth being saved. And I understand why the rest of the country has abandoned them in their ignorance, why they believe that it's not worth the time of trying to reach out to them. However, I have people that I care about, that I grew up with, that I know still hold certain objectionable beliefs, and I can't abandon them in their suffering because I'm able to identify all of the ways in which their prejudice actually hurts them and stops them from being able to achieve any kind of labor solidarity, which undercuts all of their economic earning potential, undercuts their upwards economic mobility. I can see this. It is incumbent upon me to get them to a place where they can see it. I believe that everybody is capable of learning. The question is not whether or not they can learn. The question is whether or not I'm capable of educating them, whether I'm capable of teaching. Pe0ple, who is considered to be the father of modern pedagogy, had this theory where all learning happens along needs and interests. You learn the things that you're interested in, you learn the things that you need to know. And it is incumbent upon me to know enough, to understand them well enough for me to find a way to frame the argument in such a way that they need to know it, that it is in their interest to know it. It's incumbent upon me. I believe that I have the ability, and therefore I have the responsibility. I know that this has been a long-winded, rambling fucking video. I appreciate so much everybody who's taken the time, everybody who has watched any of my videos, everybody anyone who ever supported me or has voiced support for the things that I do. Thank you so much. It means so much for me to do this and to have it be received by the general public and to have these thoughts validated in the public forum. It really does. It means a lot. Thank you guys so much. I hope y'all have a great day. Much love.
Has anyone else noticed that the melanin deficient have quite literally aligned themselves with the devil, biblically speaking? Think about it. They've taken the Bible and Christianity as a whole, knowingly corrupted it, took it around the globe, indoctrinating and fear-mongering people into doing their bidding under the guise of being good Christians or good followers of Christ and not going to hell. And they're still using that tactic now. The Bible says that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, does it not? What all have they done? They've stolen everything. They've stolen land, people, money, credit for other people's work, finite resources. Right now, they're actively stealing history by rewriting it and whitewashing it and eradicating anything that paints them in a negative light. Yet they've convinced the masses that petty theft and looting is worse than the atrocities they've committed. And even more audaciously, they've made black people the face of crime in this country. They've killed millions of people in some of the most heinous ways, and they're actively defending the extermination of a certain group of people right now. They're destroying the planet, burning the Amazon, which are the lungs of the earth, killing us off to make more money. And then they go to the pulpit on Sunday and preach about how the love of money is the root of all evil. But look at what you've done. You play into those systems every single day. Those systems of marginalization and oppression, you play into them every day. They will preach that and then come up with another way to harm us for profit. Look at the systems that have been created due to greed. For-profit prison systems, this murderous healthcare system, predatory credit systems, homelessness. It's being created because it's now being criminalized. So if you're homeless, it basically translates to slave labor, because if you're homeless, you go to a homeless shelter, there's no room, they're going to kick you out. If you're on the streets homeless, which is now a crime in a lot of places, you're going to go to jail, where you're going to be forced to do free labor, slave labor. They'll say all of these things and then stand on these type of principles. And then so many of us still look at them as symbols of success. I don't look at them and aspire to be anything that they are, have anything that they have, because I know how they've come to acquire it. And y'all, this may be a little harsh, but it's time for everybody to grow the fuck up. Religious principles are keeping us back. And I'm not saying that everything in the Bible is wrong. There's certain things that I apply, but there are certain tenets of that faith that I'm not going to apply to my life because they don't resonate with me. When it comes to helping the poor, loving people, not judging people, you know, the actual teachings of Christ, absolutely. But anything meant to hold me back or make me feel like I'm less than, I'm not keeping that. And we got to get real about that. Look at the way that the stories are set up. You're telling me that I, as a female, a giver of life, came from the rib of a man? That's a way to make you think that you came second when you didn't. Women are the givers of life. Female is the default. Every mammal, including humans, in their embryonic stage began as female. They may develop into male later, but female is the default. So how did you create me if I'm the reproductive blueprint? It's not true. And we got to stop believing stuff just because we've been told this since we were a child. If it defies your sense of logic and reasoning, throw it out. And I've always been able to do that. That's why deconstructing wasn't hard for me. As soon as something doesn't make sense, I can throw it away. That's how it's supposed to be, because that creates balance. Now, religious people will tell you that you're being lukewarm, but that's another tactic to make you push yourself into religious extremism, which isn't healthy either. You need to be able to think critically. Religion does not push that. It wants you to do the opposite, and you got to stop falling for that. Like I said, you don't have to throw away every single thing, but there are certain things that don't resonate and shouldn't resonate because they're false. Look at the story of Adam and Eve. The reason that misogyny and patriarchy are perpetuated and run rampant in this country is because of principles and stories like this. You're telling me that God gave Adam a specific order. Eve gave him the fruit of the tree that he wasn't supposed to eat from. He ate it knowing he wasn't supposed to, and now we all live in a world of sin. Women go through unbearable childbirths and labor pains because they're being punished. Punished for what? Adam's decision. So they've been holding us accountable for the actions of men forever. And those stories set that precedent. And so many women will peddle these stories, and I don't understand that. You're peddling your own oppression. They have reduced you to basically childbearer and slave, and you guys are okay with that. It's time to start thinking for ourselves, y'all. I understand that it's hard to break those shackles, but you have to. You don't have to throw out God. You don't have to throw out Christ, but throw out anything that's going to keep you in bondage. That's where we need to be, and we all should be on the same page with that. Too many of us have been conditioned to just take things in that aren't true. I've seen people on here battling or debating creationism and evolution as if both are backed by empirical evidence, when only one is. The other is basically folklore. But they're arguing, and you can see the cognitive dissonance just whipping their ass because they just can't bring themselves to believe that they've been taught something that wasn't true. We're too old for that, y'all. We're too grown to be following things like that when we know better. So we have to do better, period. That's just what it is. And like I said, I don't know how people can look to these people, see the things that they've acquired, see it as abundance when you know how they've come to acquire it. Nothing about what they have or the way they got it makes me want it in that same way. And it's hard for me to want to share a faith with people who I know don't give a damn about me until they need me to be on their side. Is that not what we've been seeing our entire lives? We got to get it together, y'all. Anything that doesn't make sense, throw it out. You're not being lukewarm, you're being balanced, and that's where we need to be.
This is all I got from this video, and sincerely speaking, some of them or most of them do not have anything to offer, especially Black community, but they look for a way to take from Black community. They don't want to associate with Black people, but they want Black people to say democracy, you know. They have been doing that all this while, but it's no longer working out and all that, you know. A lot of people are waking up getting to understand, how they acquire things and all that, or how they have, or the way they have it and all that, For them, all they want is, how they mess up and tell you, yeah, we've been told, things like this were going to happen, and then we probably did not listen. But can you help us do one or two things? Can you help us fix things and all that? I mean, gone are the era or gone are the days when you mess up and you expect people to fix your shit and all that. No, I think when you mess up, you fix it by yourself, or we all are gonna be stuck in it for a longer time, and or as long as it's gonna last. Black people ain't serving democracy anymore. And the first video is just very wholesome, it's really amazing getting to know that, getting to understand that somebody appreciate Black community and the things they are doing, and all they do to carry people along and all that. There is nothing as beautiful as Black love, if you know what I am saying. All you need to do is just experience it. Once you experience it, no going back. And I love the fact that he was able to experience it, and then he is talking about it, because you can't talk about what you have not experienced. So he has really experienced it, and he is talking about it, and that is so beautiful. Very big shout out to him. Shout out to Black people in general and all that. But that doesn't mean that we're still creating boundaries and all that, knowing the people we are supposed to bring in and the people we are not supposed to bring in. We're still creating boundaries, but this time around we know the people to bring in, we know the people we don't want to bring in and all that. So a very big shout out to him for giving that shout out to Black community. And to the second brother, you all already know the race thing and all that. Number one is that I think it is so easy for them to wake up and want to gaslight Black people, because they feel like I don't know why all of a sudden, or how they wake up to think Black people is their problem and all that. Black people is not your problem, But I don't know how they woke up to that, but it's just the white rich man telling the poor white man that your problem is Black people, and then they try as much as they can to create war against themselves or against us, knowing that the only people that they should be fighting should be their rich men. Yeah, because I still remember a video that I once brought here about a white woman saying that Black people and poor white people have so many things in common. And if only they are going to work together, but they would rather support their rich white men or whoever and still die or wallow in poverty, because you all remember how they say vote the blue no matter who. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.